The following podcast is being brought to you by the Defy Life Podcast Network.
This week on the Defy Life Podcast, the guys discuss some NFL playoffs, state of the franchise of the Brooklyn Nets in the NBA. We'll answer a listener question and also finish up a round of trivia. All that and more. Let's get to it.
Yeah, that's what it is. I guess we gotta do it then. You alright? Check. Pull. Out. Money. West Coast. Let's get it. Strap in, let's take a ride. Oh yeah, it's about that time, right? Been waiting all week to get to this. It's finally time to defy life. Let's chop it up, keep it real, no other way. That's what we do. We might disagree, but it's all love. Guarantee we gon' speak the truth. Yeah, this hit different. My guys with me, now who's with us? Stick around for a few minutes. It's contagious. You'll get it. You downloaded the realest. Don't feel us, forget out. You not rocking with Defy Life, then what's your life about? This ain't the Defy Life. Told you. This on to the Shy Life. I'm gonna let this ride out though. This is the Defy Life.
Welcome back to the Defy Life Podcast, powered by the Defy Life Podcast Network. This episode is sponsored by Bud Bottles, home of the Bud Bottle and the Bud Freshener. Please visit budbottles.com for your odor eliminating needs. This is episode 184. Y'all come on in, wipe your feet, close the door behind you. I'm your host, J.R. Glenf, joined as always by my wonderful co-host, Alvin Glenf. What's good with you, cuzzo?
Oh, I'll tell you what's not good, and that's my body right now.
Oh, man.
In the spirit of my body different, B, I helped my daughter move yesterday, bro.
Ooh,
Ouch. And for the record, middle age and moving really shouldn't be in the same sentence.
Right.
Really, it just shouldn't just be in the same sentence. And like I told my daughter, I have not helped somebody move and actually lifted a box in probably close to 20 years because I had retired.
Right.
So
daddies and daughters should bring your ass out of retirement. Daddies and daughters
will bring your ass out of retirement. I said, so real talk, there's probably 1-2 other people on this planet who could have got me to come out of retirement. But I'm really supposed to be just buying beer and pizza. That's really what my job is.
And hiring your brother and his friends.
He was there. I give him credit. He was there, but that ain't enough because she had a lot of shit.
Right.
So we did it. Family came through. You know, her family, my wife, me, brother. But you know, I don't know what's the purpose of being in a sorority if you can't rely on folk.
Right.
I'm just not understanding what the purpose is. Yeah. You can't get them there.
Gonna make me call these young ladies a name I regret.
You know what I mean? What we doing here?
Right.
What we doing here? I bet your brother was having a fish fry though.
Mm-hmm. Of course. He's firing up the grill. Oh, your dad cooking? Oh yeah, that's what we do.
We on our way.
All right. Surprise! Grab a box.
Right, maybe that's what we should do, right? But you know, everything being everything, man. I'm doing good, doing well. It's been an interesting week since we last had our last podcast.
Oh man, so yeah,
a lot going on in the world.
A lot. So we're gonna jump into it, man. As always, we do a little bit of house cleaning first because we got some shit to talk about. Yeah, so just want to shout out our patrons. As always, no one in particular this week. Just want to shout out all of our patrons, man. We love y'all. Thanks for your support. Folks always ask, what's the best way to support the network? Go to patreon.com/GoDefyLife and become a patron. You can help support our growth and allow us to host events and continue to work in our communities. For less than your favorite fast food combo, you can support Defy Life. So again, it's patreon.com/GoDefyLife. You can also check out our written content at GoDefyLife.com. You can check out our podcast hub at DefyLifePods.com. And you can check out all of our branded apparel at DefyLifeGear.com. So any of those websites are, you can go there directly. You can go to another one, bounce to another one, connect to any of the other ones from one of those sites. So they're all connected. But yeah, thanks for your support, guys. And and again, it is a new year. So in 2020, if you listen to a podcast, if you subscribed, sent a listener question in, bought a T-shirt, read an article, responded to an article, anything y'all did, man, in 2020 to help support us, thank you so much. So, Al, did I cover everything?
Bro, right on point, right on time. Appreciate the shout out to our supporters because last year they were amazing and they really stepped it up as we stepped it up. So just looking forward to a even bigger and better year.
They did, man, and I'm proud. When we saw a lot of companies, big and small, fall by the wayside during this pandemic. So we are proud to say that we not to say it is the other side, but we are flourishing throughout it. So thank you all so much. We are totally dependent on your support. So thank you, guys.
Awesome.
So yeah, you mentioned in case you haven't noticed, Thomas Stevens is not here. We'll be talking to him shortly.
No.
Oh shit! He's
the
not the back
alarm
door.
just went off in the office.
Right.
Motion detectors are working. The motion detectors are working. Well, whoever put those in over the break, good job.
Appreciate it,
they
money.
are effective. Yes, good job.
I thought I smelled some Church's fried chicken. Pooh, what's good?
What's good, gentlemen? How are you?
Ain't nothing, man.
Doing good, brother.
Yeah, thought I heard somebody back there licking on their fingers over some Churches. Yeah, man, you all right?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good.
Cool.
Chilling, man.
Sweet.
Man. What's going on with your boy? But I guess we'll talk about that.
Who that?
Kyrie.
Oh, we're gonna talk about all that. Yo, how bad is it that Kyrie ain't even the biggest asshole this week? Not even close. It's a bunch of donkeys to talk about this week, probably the reigning donkey over the last 4 years. 45.
Easy.
He's reclaimed, cemented, confirmed, verified, all that shit. His spot at the top. So last week, last Wednesday, just after we launched, I walk in the house and we launched our last episode, finished listening to it, get a call from West Coast Jay, check in, he's handing some stuff on for me. And he's like, yo, I'm sitting there watching people crash the Capitol. I'm like, what? And everybody knows what's happened. So yeah, Donald Trump rallied his goons to go, crash the Capitol and basically do what the fuck they want to do. Just put their feet up on folks' desks, smeared shit all over the place, blood on statues, all kind of stuff, man. Killing people. Like apparently blue lives don't matter no more. Y'all just have a free for all. I ain't gonna ask you what you thought. Just what comes to your mind at this point, Al? It's been a week, and what's on your mind right now regarding that situation?
Well, I think what's on my mind is two things. One, I saw a report today that there are several senators, Republican senators, who are leaning towards voting to convict him if and when the articles of impeachment make it to the Senate. Mm-hmm. So that just shows you how really off the meter this guy has gone, to where people in his party who've been looking the other way and enabling, and in some cases downright supporting this foolishness, have actually got to a point where they are actually looking to convict him of these crimes. And actually in the last week, you really have to really shit on yourself for your party to say we want to impeach you in the last week, right? So that's one thing that comes to mind. Just like, wow, this guy has really done it. But then the thing that has been on my mind since the beginning of the insurrection was, I mean, we've been consistent critics of our president, throughout this show. We've also been consistent critics of his supporters throughout this show. And that's what stays on my mind, is that while as a country, I'm all about coming together and going forward healing, but there still has to be some accountability, not just of the president, but of us, his supporters. And for me, that means we will not forget that those who supported him. And I'm just asking that if they're in the voting, like if they're elected officials, go out and vote their ass out for the fact that they supported this clown. And if there are people in your circle who supported this clown, and now want to say different. And again, not that we shouldn't allow people to be different. They should be allowed to be different. But we will still remember the lack of judgment these people showed for the last 4 years. So that, to me, is what stays in my mind. Like that, let's not just pin this all on our president in terms of who should be held responsible and accountable, because there were his supporters that could have took him out at any point over the last 4 years. We've had another impeachment. We've had opportunities for the senators and Republicans to say, you know what, enough is enough. This guy does not deserve to be our president. And they chose another direction. So I ain't going to forget that. And that's what stays in my mind, because if they had chose that back then, we wouldn't have had Wednesday occur. So that's what's on my mind. I ain't forgetting.
Right. Okay. Pooh, what's in your head right now?
Man, I just think that it's everything just culminating to a head, and when I look at it, they knew who he was. They weren't at that aspect. They weren't being realists. They were being idealists. They what I mean by that is they saw what they saw. They believed what they saw. However, they just wouldn't. I guess they wouldn't acknowledge, what they saw. However, they just wanted to. Okay, he's a Republican, so they wanted to be an idealist of the ideal Republican views, but not knowing that the guy's a narcissist. He's a complete. I don't even know what adjective to use for him. To be honest with you, so they just didn't want to point the finger and say, okay, he represents the Republican Party. However, we really don't know what this guy is. So that's what I mean by that. They weren't being realists. They were being idealists of the Republican nature, so to speak. So and I'm not amazed by it, because I'm just not amazed by it because of who he is, and he showed us what he is and who he is from the beginning. Mm-hmm. So, with that being said, man, I just don't know with this guy, man. I'm just glad they muted. They took to the R. Kelly,
right.
They muted Trump, So hey, I'm for it, man.
Yeah, man. What always gets me with people in general, when we want to pick and choose when shit matters to us. And so, again, like I said at the beginning, now, quote unquote, blue lives don't matter anymore, because it's your people who went in there, and terrorized this country. Right. And now all of a sudden, damaging property don't matter no more, because not specifically. Because even when they talk about it, they don't want to mention it specifically. It's, we condemned all this illegal behavior. No, talk about it specifically. The same way when Breonna Taylor gets shot in her bedroom, you go through her history and specifically tell us everything she's done in her adult life. Be specific about what you don't condone. I want to hear it. I want that same energy, but we don't hear that. We want to pick and choose when we want to have energy around something. We want to pick and choose when we just want to glaze over stuff because, at this point, it ain't even about politics no more, man. It's really about grown ass people who I know are smarter than this, really looking at me in the face and saying they did it first. That's pretty much what they're saying. He said, she said, they did it first. I'm gonna point the finger and deflect. I've talk about it all the time. I have a really good friend who, he's a Republican, and we always go back and forth on stuff. And so I reached out to him, and I was really just like on Wednesday, I was like, dude, what the hell is going on? And his response was like, you mean in D.C.? I was like, yes, specifically in D.C. What's going on right now? And, his response, he glazed over it. Just stupid people doing stupid stuff. Reference back to Portland with the Black Lives Matter stuff. I was like, see, this is why I said specifically in D.C., because I didn't want you to deflect, and I didn't want to start getting into a dick measuring contest about who's more wrong. So if you wanted to talk about that, you would have texted me 6 months ago, but you didn't. Now I want to talk about this specifically. His next reply, oh, yeah, I'm playing games with my daughter. See, now you don't want to talk. See, This is what the fuck I'm talking about. So, I was just like, you know what? Have a good day, man. Enjoy. Because when you want to have long, drawn out conversations on black folks playing the victim and or why you think racism is that you engage me and we can go back and forth respectfully all day. But when you're in a situation when the spotlight's on you and all I get is you deflecting to shit that's what I don't have any words for it. But, it's just the world we live in, and we can't we're to a point where we can't disagree. And I don't even put it all on 45. I don't put it all on him because people are grown and I ain't gonna say everybody. Because if that is the leadership that is representing his people, oh God, we in trouble.
Well, we've been in trouble. And to the folks who weren't necessarily screaming it because they were Democrats, but there were people who were screaming it just because they really cared about what's best for our country.
Right.
And people have been looking at this as our leader and said, this dude right here, bump party, bump policy. Right. It don't matter how you feel about whatever. Just on the strength of that guy right there is an ineffective leader and is bad for our country. Right. Why can't we agree on that? And when people wouldn't even come to that conclusion, that's when I lost a lot of respect for his supporters.
Right.
Because it's one thing for you to say, well, you know what, I disagree with Barack Obama's policy, and me and you, we could just go back and forth on whether or not we should support him on a policy. But if the dude was just a total, just one of the worst leaders you've ever experienced in any industry ever, I hope I would be man enough to say, yo, real talk, I like his policies, but he sucks. Right. And we need to get somebody else in there.
Got to be
He's
real.
terrible.
Yeah, that's the realest.
Right. And speaking of that's what I was gonna say, Pooh. In moments of when shit hits the fan, that's where you can tell who's a leader and who's not, right? So he didn't, encourage these people to go down the street and bomb rush the Capitol. Then when they get there, his own daughter's in his face like, Dad, you got to do something. These people are tearing up the Capitol. You got to do something. This dude sends out a tweet and says, let's be peaceful. You already know it's too late for that. But so then after that, they say, no, you got to do something. His daughter sends out a tweet. That don't matter. She had to retract her statement because she called them American patriots. And so he finally does his recording where he basically says he loves them and he understands what they're going through. And so it's that, we've all seen this kind of leader who just does something to say, hey, I tried and I did something. And so you send out a tweet, even though you know it's pointless, even though you know it's too late, just to say, hey, no, go check on, at 3:57, I sent this tweet. I tried, just so you can cover your ass, that you a cover your ass kind of leader. And we hate those kind of leaders. We see them all the time. We talk about them all the time. And those are the kind of leaders who get respect out of fear. And they get followers out of fear. And they get people to follow them because they don't know what true leadership is. And just because you said something that caught their attention once and made them feel included, they get stuck at the bottom of the pyramid of leadership, and they don't expect you to follow through with the other rungs of leadership. And that's where he's stuck at. It's totally based out of fear, and you have to follow me because you have to. And there's no,
Wow.
you know,
That speaks to how, like, that then speaks to how terrible the leaders are that are representing, like, states, the senator and the House of Rep folk. Because if you are that scared of, you more concerned about being elected than serving the people that you were elected to serve,
right.
that to me, you terrible. You're not worth the seat you sit in.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah. And
Because
again,
honestly, just looking back, to this guy, there was a controversy at the very, like, weekly. Like, he was doing something like ineffective on a weekly basis. And like, we could go through the list, like, just off the top of my head, whether it was from the Charlottesville, whether it was him insulting leaders, whether it's stuff he did pulling us out of deals, whether it was the fact that we had an investigation of him and his campaign's involvement with Russia. And at the very least, they concluded that this guy did not deny help from our foreign entity, right? So I ain't even gonna say he sought help. I'm not even gonna say he collaborated with them. But just at the very least, you didn't say, you know what, thanks, but no thanks. That right there should have been assigned to the entire country. What person would accept assistance to undermine our election from a foreign country?
Right.
Who does that?
Right.
That's a fireable offense.
That's fireable offense. And at that point, it's not even ineffective. It's counter-effective.
Okay. Like that. So the fact
yeah.
that people were rocking with him after that, we all, like, that was a fact. No one denied that around the country.
Right.
Now, there's other stuff we was arguing about, but nobody argued over whether or not he accepted their assistance. That alone should have been fireable.
Right.
But half of the country was like, but he's Republican. Okay.
Right.
Right.
And this is where we got.
Yeah.
So shame on them. That's where I'm at. Shame on them.
Right. And what gets me is, and I'm sitting with this, and that's the beauty of this show, because we talk about so much, it always kind of ties together. So we saw a national championship game this weekend, and we always talk about this. It's a damn shame that these people, these same people who follow this idiot, and at this point they're literally following him to their grave. They hold their college football coaches to a higher standard than they do their president. They hold their running backs coach to a higher standard than they hold their president. Like, they hold the quarter. Like, the stuff he does. If Nick Saban did that shit, he'd be fired. The stuff he does is, if Dabo Swinney did that shit and didn't win a championship this year, he'd be long gone.
Wow.
But they put up with that shit from their president. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, that is crazy. That's why people in the other and outside of our country look at us like our head is on backwards.
Right, and I actually had, it's funny you mentioned that. I had a conversation with this guy I know from Germany, who and I asked him, it's not long after this. It may have been like over the weekend, like Saturday. I was like, as a non-American looking at what's going on in America, genuinely think, how do you guys view us? Is it sad? Is it funny? Like, because we're not used to being looked at this way. We're used to looking at other countries and saying, "Oh my God, it's so terrible what's going on over there. Let's send aid. Let's help them out." So he said, to be honest with you, we are far past the point of looking at the U.S. as this beacon of light and this beacon of justice. And you guys are, we laugh sometimes, it's sad sometimes, but we are far past the point of thinking that you guys are still the standard of what a country should be looked upon. And then also, what was sad was that I actually had a class where we were debating, is America still a democracy? And so other countries are questioning whether, which, if you look at, I guess by definition we're not, but other countries are starting to question, one, whether we're even worth being a measuring stick, and two, are we even what we say we are?
That's a great question, and one that I tend to have with my son often, from the perspective of we know we're not who we aspire to be. Mm-hmm. So my question is, no, we're not who we say we are, because we say we're the aspiration to others, but we're not. Absolutely. So I accept that we're not who we say we are, but I think who we could be, or who we are in name, or in like on paper, like the concept of it, I think it's pretty cool and something worth aspiring towards, however we get there. But we're not there. But like when you really look at it conceptually I'm like, yo, this is kind of cool. But we got a long way to go.
Yeah, and at this point, I think it's fair to even question if we're going the right direction.
I think that is fair to ask. I think we are going in the right direction. I think, though, at times we go at a faster pace than others. We stumble a little at times. And I agree with you. I think we're going in the right direction simply because I tend to look at incidents like last Wednesday as the mark of something coming to an end versus the mark of something new starting. Well, I'll say this. I think 2020 has got us in a space as we start off this year, particularly in people, how they have processed racial justice, how they have processed diversity, equity, and a need to be more inclusive. Mm-hmm. I think that what we're going to see, how that impacts us, is that there are going to be white leaders who, when they talk, they're going to reflect the opinions of a more diverse source of information, so to speak. So, like, because they're like, for example, because Biden has a cabinet, you got Kamala, and you got a very diverse cabinet. So the voices that are going to be he's going to be listening to, who's going to the speeches that because he's just a figurehead, right? So what he's saying as a mouthpiece isn't going to reflect what I would have expected an 80-year-old white male to be saying. Mm-hmm. And I think that to me is going to be interesting because they are figureheads and mouthpieces, what comes out of their mouth affects a lot of people. Right. And if we could get the right people to give them the talking points, it can make it can be a progress. Right. That can be progress.
Yeah, absolutely. And people naturally evolve, and it's usually the loud majority. I mean, the loud minority of people who are hell bent on devolving or staying in one place, and that are so afraid of change. And that's mostly what this is about: is fear, fear of losing what's been established throughout this country for centuries and generations. And once, if you look at the teeth on a lot of these people, you'll realize they'll be dead soon, and we ain't got to worry about this shit.
But they got kids and they got
got kids. Oh man, I ain't seen their teeth yet, but but yeah, man. It's pathetic actually, and because essentially when I saw all this happening, I thought something new had happened. I was like, what happened now? What are they fighting for? What's wrong? And it was basically the same stuff. Like, oh no, they just mad about the election still. And at that point, that's when I lost it. Like, that's your end game. Like, at least remix this shit. At least make a different beat. Keep the same lyrics. I don't give a fuck. But at least give me a different beat. Y'all still playing the same song you was playing last 2 months ago? Like, this the same shit. And you gonna re-release this song like it's new? Nah, nigga, this is the same fucking song. So, I was like, at that point, like, you ain't give me the benefit. Like, at least humor me that you're able to see past your nose. Like, even if you get in there and raise hell, it don't change the fact that Joe Biden gonna be sitting president in 12 days. You have no end game.
But see, it goes back to what we as a society, and I'll just throw us all in there, what we have accepted with this dude. And one of the things he brought to the table was this idea of alternative facts.
Right.
And I remember the first time they said, well, y'all have alternative facts. And I remember like, time out. That's not possible.
Right.
Like, those two words don't go. You can't have alternative facts.
Right.
Like, because if it's a fact, it's a fact. There's no alternative facts.
Exactly. Right.
What are we talking about here? Yeah. But that concept, well, all right, you believe what you want to believe. I'm going to believe what I want to believe. Hold on. No. So they've said, well, y'all said the election has been certified and it's over and nothing can be done. All right, we don't believe that. Whoa, wait a minute. No, that's a fact. It's over. No. See, it's like, we've been allowing that whole idea to exist when it should have been like, you know what? Anytime anyone says that again, we just going to call you stupid and you can't say nothing no more in the press conference. Right. You can't say that no more. We're going to shame you, publicly shame you if you ever say alternative fact again. Stop that.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, we are where we are. And supposedly the FBI has been tipped off that every state and Washington, D.C. is going to have this shit happen again on Inauguration Day. So, again, they're going to release the same song. It's shit like Jordans at this point. He's going to release the same shoe to me and tell me it's new shoes every 3 years. So, they Jordan us at this point, man. So, yeah, let's do this shit again on next Wednesday.
Hey, they're fighting for it. They're fighting for what America is, and we're fighting for what America's supposed to be.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. But and essentially, they're just fighting because they ain't get their way.
Right. That's what I'm saying. They that's what they used to. That's what they accustomed to. So like you say, they don't want the change. But it's the idea of what America was supposed to be. Like Al said, the concept of America is so dope, but we've never been that. We've only been the concept of.
Yeah, right.
The ideal of. But like you said, hopefully, we on the way. We on the right track.
Yeah, and
look how long it's been though. That's
right. But that's the thing is, it's gonna be, there's gonna be another like right of heritage for them to hold on to, another group of people to hold on to, like the Confederacy, and then we're gonna look into this shit and they're gonna be like, this shit ain't last. You mean this Trumpocracy ain't last for 4 years? This shit ain't last for 4 years, and we going on about it like this. Same for Confederacy. This shit lasted 4 years, and
it's over.
And it was over. But they hold on to this shit and don't want to let it die. They never forget. But
yeah, right.
Y'all gonna learn today.
Hey, y'all gonna learn today, right? Y'all mentioned the word change, right? And it just got me thinking, like, why wouldn't the overwhelming majority of the people in this country want this country to change? Like, if you really looked at how people are living in this country, there's probably like 2, 3, 4% of all Americans who should say, you know what, don't change shit. I want it to stay just as is because I'm killing it. The rest of us, we should want things to be like better. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't understand this idea of we don't want it to change. How are you living so great that you don't want this world, this country to be better? Most folk out here, we getting the short end of it.
Right.
Most of us in this country,
Right.
we getting the short end of it. But it's a few percent of y'all who killing it and cool. But the rest of us, we should want better. That to me, like, they were the ads down here, during this runoff. They were these radical liberals. They want to change America. Like, exactly. Like, don't you want to, like, that's your argument? That's what you got.
Right.
That's the best you got. They want to change the country. Duh. Yeah, we want to change it.
Right.
Because it needs to be better.
Oh man, yeah, man, it's nuts. But change, as Tupac said. Yeah. Speaking of that, there's a guy on TikTok. He's a writer, a writing instructor, who did a 17-part TikTok series on why Biggie was a better writer than Tupac. It was amazing, and I say amazing because usually people say, I fuck with Pac or I fuck with Big, but he actually took time to break down and give his reasonings, and from a technical perspective, it was really insightful. And he's led from the beginning, like this ain't got nothing to do with, how you say your words or, what you feel about a certain writer or how they affect society. It's strictly about a writer from a writing perspective. And it was like a class. It was pretty dope. And, of course, like any comparison, I'm sure a lot of it had to do with his, personal biases as well, but at least he did back it up with fact. It's pretty decent. I forgot his name. I just got caught up in a TikTok series one day and watched them all. But yeah.
That's just real quick thought. I'm not technical about anything really. Like, that's just not my orientation to be technical.
Right.
But I once read a book, or I can't remember where I saw it, but how people technically break up rhyming. Mm-hmm. And I was like, there's a science behind this shit?
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Right.
Like, I missed all of that.
Right.
And I just find that fascinating.
Yeah, right. And what was interesting, and I'll find his name, I'll just shoot it to y'all. What was interesting is a lot of the things naturally as writers and MCs, people tend to do, as MCs and don't even realize they're doing it. And then you break it down technically, and that's where the genius part comes in at, because it's kind of like, a guy who just can walk up and start playing a guitar and never had classes. So it's that kind of thing. But yeah, so I'll find it. And there was a lot of, like writing schemes and technicalities that come into, that even the greatest of writers of all time, and I'm just not just talking about musicians, I'm talking about writers, screenwriters, playwrights, never grasped that the likes of Biggie and Tupac were able to grasp, especially Biggie. And so it's really interesting to see it broken down technically like that.
Word.
Yeah. So, but I mentioned the really quickly on the national championship game, Alabama. I think I knew this. I guess everybody kind of knew this. Took Ohio State behind the woodshed. Took them to the deep water. It was a lot to a little. That game was, to me, it was over somewhere between Osei and Can You See? I don't know, but one question from this game, because I don't think there was much to decipher from like breaking down the game. Alabama was just way too good, way too deep. But so two things. One I'll get into is me and Al discussed it off the air. But first, our Heisman Trophy winner, Devontae Smith, I was talking to Lincoln and trying to figure out who would be like body type, play style. Who have you ever seen a guy like him be successful, like on the next level? And who would that be? Pooh, you first.
Man, I could just right offhand, I could just think about the guy that's the rookie, the kid second team All Pro, Justin Jefferson. He reminds me a lot of Justin Jefferson, right? That's his name, Justin. LSU. He reminds me, but longevity, I can't really think of a guy that small of a frame type.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like all that together, Justin Jefferson's 25 pounds heavier than Devontae Davis, man.
But he looks extremely tall. I mean, I don't know his weight, but he's looked very frail to me. He looks extremely skinny. I had to Google his weight and whatnot. But what's he? What 6'2", like 175 or something like that? Smith.
Let me see.
Trying to pull him up too. He is 5'1". 6'1", 175.
6'1", 175.
Yeah, and Justin Jefferson is 6'1", 203. So yeah, he's 30 pounds heavier almost.
Yeah. Well, come to think about that, then no, I just looked at their body type and Justin seemed small like that, but I guess 203. I guess he's not.
Right.
You know, that's.
And what's weird, I was telling Lincoln, I don't know, y'all go ahead and I'll tell you what my thoughts were. Like, can you think of anybody who's like that good, yet that frail, yet that damn good, yet that explosive, like, but that good, but that he's like an oxymoron almost. Al, anybody for you?
I was trying to look up Calvin Ridley, but he's heavier too. He's 175. So I mean, maybe he need to put on some weight, but I don't know. That's a great question.
What's
Calvin,
but what was Calvin Ridley?
6'1", 190.
Oh, 190. Okay.
So that's who he reminds me of in terms of how he plays and, when I see him on the field and how he translates. But he is smaller. So, I don't know. I mean, 175 is frail. I mean, but, what's Odell?
Oh, man.
That was like one. Yeah, Odell's, I think he came into the league like 195.
Okay. I mean, if you jam and see Smith, he's not going to have that guys laying off of you. You got guys that's, like you say, 210, 215 that's benching, 450, and they saying, we're going to put our hands on you. We're going to move.
He's Beckham, 5'11", 198.
Yeah.
5'11", okay. That's and strong.
Right.
That's 25 pounds.
All right. And, and Beckham, especially, that when he came to the league, he was like elite athlete.
Right, jacked. And he was jacked. Like, muscle on top of muscle.
So it's funny because when you whittle it down just to body type, there's a few guys who were that light coming into the league who were first round picks. Deshaun Jackson, right? Deshaun, but he ain't as fast as Deshaun yet. I don't think so. Like Deshaun was
I don't think he got
fast play, right? But that's Randy one of the guys.
Light, though.
Who?
He was tall. Randy was light, but he was tall, though.
Yeah, Randy was 5 inches taller.
Yeah.
Randy was a freak. Like that's Ted Ginn.
Okay. Yeah.
And Emmanuel Sanders, but he wasn't a first round pick, but he reminds me a lot of Emmanuel Sanders just because his movement skills and his hands.
You got Jay. You got who plays for y'all now? Johnson.
Deontay, yeah, you remember a little bit of Johnson, but
the same body type.
Yeah, but Johnson's 190.
Johnson's 190.
Yeah, well now he is. He came to the league like 185.
Okay.
So yeah, a little bit of that, but yeah, so it's a few guys, but still 165, 170, like that's 170, whatever it was, 175, Al.
Yeah,
175.
175, like. You know how like when you see a running back and a running back is like 190 and you're like, I don't know. But if he was 200, you'd be like, oh yeah, he could. It's just that it's the aesthetics, I guess, and seeing the two. 165 and 175 and 180 is a huge difference to me. I don't know why.
I mean, it is, especially when you're talking about a position where you're going to get physically like manhandled off the line. Like that 5-10 pounds of strength can make a difference.
Right.
Really make a difference.
And to hear like SEC coaches who've been coaching in the SEC for years, over a decade, and it's like he's the best I've ever seen. Like,
I mean, and he might be in college. You know, I mean,
right.
like there's some players who are the best quarterback ever in
Right.
college, but
True.
don't translate into the NFL.
yeah.
And so he might be that guy, but at that level. But I think it's really fair to ask at that frame, how successful will he be, and especially in terms of draft capital. Like, how high do you want to draft somebody who you're not certain is going to translate?
Right.
He's
Hollywood
He
Brown.
might fall.
Hollywood Brown's another
Hollywood.
one. But
Yeah, Hollywood. Okay.
But he's super fast too, though.
right, he crazy fast. Right. And it's, I mean, he's projected. Smith is projected to be a top 5 pick.
Yes, he is.
He's a 4.3 guy, isn't it? Smith.
Yeah, but I'm saying like play speed. I don't think he's like he ain't Ted Ginn fast. Like
He don't look like it, Jay,
Right.
but he be pulling away from guys. Like
It was some bursts.
guys
Yeah,
be standing
I
still.
ain't saying he's slow by any means.
Yeah.
But but is he like that explosive? He ain't Deshaun Jackson fast, man. He can't be.
I just think I think his strides are like mad long. I
They are.
think that kid can move. I think that kid moving.
I know I ain't saying he
mean-
not, but I mean when you start talking about guys that are that fast, we gotta split hairs a little bit. It's kind of like
Right.
talking, so like I don't know. When I saw there's a certain feeling that you get, and there's a certain oomph in your goddamn. Like when you say that shit, that's when you seen Deshaun Jackson run in full speed. That's when you seen Tyreek Hill run. That's when you seen Ted Ginn when he was young. Even regardless of how good they were, when you see them hit top speed, there's a different twang in your goddamn when you say that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't say that when I see him run. He's fast.
Yeah, I mean, right, he's fast, but I don't. I would probably put him like. I don't see him at 4.3, but like maybe mid, like between 4.4 and 4.5. I would bet he clocks somewhere in there, like faster than the average college player.
Right.
But when you get on an NFL field, not faster than the average cornerback.
I mean, and I never really watched him. I have to be honest. But like, okay, Ohio State, they fast. They got like they defense is really, really fast. And the guys didn't look really, really fast when he was playing against them. And like I said, I think it's a tribute to his long strides because he doesn't look like he has that, super ultra ridiculous burst. Like just take it back not too long ago, like a Sammy or even an ATN or whatever. But I think he's really moving. I think Smith is really moving. I really do. I really do.
I mean, I believe he's going to be based on, I've watched a couple of games. I like his routes. I like his heart. I like, his attitude, great hands. So I think he's going to be successful, especially if he goes right system, right quarterback, and has, some time to develop. Right. I think he's going to be a good one.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like this question was not to demean his abilities. I just trying to figure out who he reminds me of. I can't figure it out. I think he's got all the tools to be great. And like you said, Al, there's very few guys that come into this league that it doesn't matter what system you put them in, how bad their coach is, they're gonna be good. It like certain dudes, like Randy Moss, like could have been in. He could have been on. What was the Bruce Cosley could have been his head coach, and he would have been fine. So it's certain dudes. Like, So, like you said, like I do think Smith is one of those guys who's going to have to, he'll have to have a good quarterback. You have to be in the right system for a coach who knows how to, create mismatches and get him open. I don't think it's a guy you just line up on Patrick Peterson 30 times, 60 times a game and say get open, right? You kind of create
and I think
ways.
His best case is he also doesn't have to come in and be the number one rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
Comes in somewhere where there's probably maybe another smaller wide receiver there who can help him learn how to be a small wide receiver in the NFL. And I think, that's what I mean by, the right edge thing. He gets those things.
Right.
I think kind of like Justin, like he's going to show off his year.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we'll see. Well, maybe, like you said, we already got one of his type on the Steelers. Pooh, maybe y'all could use him. I don't know. Because we talked last week about Al not having a voice in this playoff conversation, and I should ain't last too long. Neither one of us. So now that we all out of playoff playoff conversation, Pooh, a question for you. Because Al kind of touched on this last week with the Cowboys. So give me 3 moves that next year, 3 realistic moves. I ain't saying go into a go and take DNA from Walter Payton and dig him up out the game. I ain't saying do none of that shit. Realistic moves that could be done this offseason to push the Bears over the top. And that could be a draft pick, a free agent signing, a trade, whatever. Give me 3 realistic moves that could push the Bears over the top and at least get you to the NFC Championship next year.
All right. Let me see. Free agency, I don't know who. Free agency, either O-line, or I would say edge rusher. I really think that the kid that we paid the $70 million to was a flop. I can't remember his name. Played with the Cowboys last year. Kid from North Carolina. What's his name? I can't remember.
Oh, Quinn.
Quinn.
Oh yeah, Quinn.
Quinn. So either draft a pass rusher or free agency, or offensive line free agency, or a strong safety. So either one of those, either one of those. Oh, and another wide receiver, because the young kid we got Mooney. So we need O-line. We need at least one O-lineman. Doesn't matter, a guard or a tackle, and we need another pass rusher. But you know what? Blank the pass rusher, because we had 2 guys sit out. Our 2 best, really, really good defensive linemen sat out this year for COVID. Golson and what's the kid name? Was it Francois? The DN. No, not Francois. 6'8", 6'9" kid. I can't recall his name right now.
Oh, I know
but he's a monster. He's a monster. Okay. So he sat out, and Goldman sat out, and Goldman Pro Bowler. So I really, really think we need a safety. We need another wide receiver, and we need an offensive lineman. So those 3 moves, I don't know who we bring in. Oh, wow. I'm tripping. And a quarterback.
I was about to say, appreciate it.
Hey, I'm tripping. So whether we free agency or draft any of those positions, I'll be great. I would love to bring in Sam Darnold. I really would if they go high and go quarterback, but all the consensus saying that they're gonna probably do tackle, or I seen one said they go Smith at number 2.
Wow,
tough. Yeah, I know, right? But everyone's thinking they're gonna go with wide receiver from Oregon or the kid from BYU, quarterback from BYU.
Yeah.
Because we out draft. How far down are y'all?
Oh, we fell, man. We those last 3-4 wins of the season, we went from top 10 to like 20.
Yeah, you're in the playoffs. You at least guaranteed 20. Well, no, now it's 18 because there's 7 teams in each. 7 teams for each division.
Oh, yeah,
each conference.
We were the last seed, so I don't understand. How we got up before, because I think we're like 22.
Yeah,
which I don't understand, because our record is horrible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you weren't as bad as whatever that was came out the NFC East. They were the worst
Oh well,
That's a
yeah,
given.
that's true. Yeah, yeah.
So,
Washington.
yeah.
I can't even say nothing.
Yeah. So I was about to say we're gonna go through all that. You ain't even gonna take a quarterback. So yeah.
Yeah, I got the quarterback.
Okay.
Get Mitchell.
Well, with Deshaun,
Mhm.
you know,
I think if any team get him, it will be the Dolphins.
okay,
Just because they talking about Tua, they talking about they got a pick in the top 5, and they also got like an 18 and like
Yeah.
a 20 something. So they'll probably keep the 20 something for themselves. But if they give up that top 5 pick and Tua and that 18, I think they can bring in Deshaun.
Man,
now
the Dolphins.
so
will-
if you're Houston, and you get a pick of Tua and a number 3 pick for Deshaun.
And an 18. And like an 18, something like that. Something
Better
before
Also,
that. Another
both
top
first
3
rounders,
pick.
both
Yeah.
first
They
rounders,
got 3
and
first
Tua.
round picks, right, Jay?
I don't know.
They got Houston
Yeah.
top round.
Oh
They got
yeah, they
Houston
do.
I'm looking. I see 3, 18.
Something else, right?
That's all I see right now. 3 and 18.
Okay.
Okay.
But either way, would you do it for 2 first rounders and
And Tua,
Tua?
If I'm Houston, damn right.
I would if I were Houston. Houston in the dumps, bro. And then they got a promising. I mean, Tua's not bad. He looks good.
Right, and that's what
You
like
know-
Miami is stupid if they get rid of all that and let Tua go after 1 year. Like,
For Deshaun?
right, because
But I'd
then
do it for Miami.
well, no, that's no, because like I would because essentially, basically, what you're doing is you're just creating Houston East. You giving away all your talent, and now you just got Deshaun, and now you're gonna be 4-12.
Nah, I think they. Man, if they get Deshaun, they contending with the Bills and the Chiefs. Like they loaded. I think they loaded. I think they really loaded.
With who?
They won 10 games this year.
And they still get like the second. I think they got 2 second round picks. You know, I think they got talent, bro. They can sign. I think they loaded. I think they Deshaun away from like really, really being contenders for the Super Bowl.
That would be real. I'm
I
on both
just
teams.
don't.
I'm not sure what I would do.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like
So you're saying you out of it because it's both first round picks, or if it was only one first round pick and Tua, or like both first rounds, you're out of it. Like what's your
I'm just saying, like, my thinking is Miami had everything go right this year,
Correct.
right? And they still didn't make the playoffs, right? Even like most teams, where most things, like everything goes. You see the team that wins the Super Bowl this year, most things are gonna go right for that. You look back on that season and be like, man, a lot of shit went right for them this year. It's just how it works. But for a team that didn't even make the playoffs, and you can say that about most teams that happens to, whether they win it or all or not, that doesn't happen 2 years in a row. Usually that next year you get injuries. The guys who had great years don't have great years the next year. So for Miami to have another everything went right year again with an entire new quarterback, like to me, and you mortgage your future by giving up all your first round picks. I just don't see, and you've already got the young quarterback that you've been waiting on. I don't see the sense in it. That's all I'm saying.
I like it. I think they're just like I said. I think they're Deshaun away from being really big key players, because I think they have really good wide receivers. They have an excellent tight end. They have a really good offensive line that no one really saw that because it was makeshift. And then they became really,
because a lot of shit went right.
They became really, really good. They got
A lot
really
of dudes,
good
a lot, but that's
They
what
got back.
right.
maybe
But
the best
everything,
secondary
right?
in
But,
the AFC.
but everything you saying is because all those dudes had career years. Every dude on that offensive line had the best year of their career. You think that's going to happen again?
Hands down. Yeah, hands down. Yeah, hands down.
Like,
Hands
you
down.
think, like Devontae Parker, or ain't that his name? The receiver.
Yeah,
He's had the best 2 years of his career. The last 2 years,
agreed. Yeah,
and he's in year 7. I don't think he's going to get much better. No, he'll be in year 5. Year 5.
I
coming in.
don't think he needs to get better. I mean,
Your number
of course
one
he want to
receiver.
get better.
Right. That's what. So he's not going to get any better. He's good, but he's had 1,000-yard season. Like, who's their tight end? Mike Gesicki?
Gesicki, he's really, really good, Jay. Preston
Yeah.
Parker is really, really good. They slot
Devontae
guy
Parker.
Jeremy Grant. No,
Yeah, Preston
I mean,
Parker.
they-
Yeah, Preston Parker. But Preston Parker's really good, but the best
If
years
he's on the field.
right? That's what I'm
He
saying.
gets hurt a
So
lot.
it's too much stuff that has to go right for me to mortgage my future, and I just got the quarterback I've been waiting on since Dan Marino.
that's true.
Why do I blow that up and say I'm gonna get, like, as much as I love Deshaun, as much as I do, like, I don't get it.
I'll give it. I mean, I don't know if I would do the both first rounds, but I definitely would do that 2 of first and a third. I would do that, and I would
Oh,
keep
yeah,
my.
but that ain't
I would keep my first round pick and my second round pick, or the first and the second and 2. Like, I would keep something high, but I would definitely be in on Deshaun.
There's a whole lot of folks that need to at least be in on them, trying to
Right,
see what they're asking.
Right, and
Oh,
we've
they
seen
want on.
right, and we've seen what elite quarterbacks go for. What you offering a first, a third, and Tua, that ain't gonna get it. You gonna at least give up two.
How about
number one.
Pittsburgh? I mean, would you?
What would
What would y'all offer?
that-
What would you be willing to offer to get him on your team?
So I read this article today, and it was actually talking about that. What would Pittsburgh have to give up in order to get a Deshaun Watson? And that included, y'all ready for this? This year's first round pick,
Okay.
next year's first round pick,
Okay.
likely a first round pick the year after that. So 3 first round picks, and the receiver you mentioned earlier, Deontay Johnson. So there's 3 first round picks and one of the better young receivers in this league, who's likely Pro Bowler in his near future. Well, he was a Pro Bowler last year.
I really like. I really like.
Yeah, I like him too.
So, like, I wouldn't do it. I would not do it. Now, so with that, I'll give you what would be my 3 moves for the Steelers. As much as I love Deshaun Watson, and if we had a chance to draft him, I'd take him every day or twice on Sunday. But I ain't giving up that much for him. First thing I would do is, this is kind of 2 moves in one, but I would have entice Ben Roethlisberger to retire, and I would trade for Matthew Stafford. That's the trade I would make if I were the Steelers.
Yeah, I like Matthew.
Yeah, it'll cost you half of what it would have taken you to get Deshaun Watson, and he's a perfect bridge to your next era. And he still keeps you competitive.
So would you give up, say, a first this year, and they said half, so maybe a second next year?
Yeah, I give up a first and a second, in exchange for maybe like Stafford and like a third.
He's still playing really good ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
What is he, 35, 34, 35?
30, 33.
I put him about, I was going to say 34-ish, but yeah.
So I would, because at this point, Ben Roethlisberger is going to count $44 million to your salary cap next year. That's 1/4 of your salary. That's 1/4 of your roster. There's no way you can have him come back at that number next year. So either way, he's going to have to take a pay cut, or he's going to have to step away. So I convinced Ben, hey, it's time to hang it up. You've done enough, and I trade for Stafford. 2, with that second round pick or the third round, whatever I'm left with. My first pick would be along the offensive line. It'll be offensive line, and I'd draft my center to replace Marquise Pouncey. Whether he retires this year or next, it's time to start grooming his replacement. And lastly, I would take a flyer on a young, athletic quarterback. Because that's
Like in the
what
draft,
it,
you mean?
Yeah,
Or-
in the draft. At some point, just some crazy athletic dude in the draft at quarterback, and just groom him. See what he can give me. Those are 3 picks, 3 things that I would do. At least create packages for a young athletic quarterback like Jalen Hurts, somebody like that. You can create packages for, or I would you got one in Josh Dobbs, fully commit to him and create some packages for him. But yeah, it's time to move on. Ben Roethlisberger he's been great, but the game is passing by. His body doesn't. It's the ball is not right there on the snap. On the snap, he can't bend over to get it. Like his body's done. You can tell.
Would you be willing to interview Haskins Jr.?
I would. Apparently, he's been interviewed at Carolina yesterday.
Carolina? Yeah, he
Yeah.
interviewed in Carolina.
Yeah, I'll take a look at him. Absolutely. I don't know. I'm not privy to everything that's going on to him, so I don't know if I'm willing to sign him, but I'm definitely willing to listen.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I think he deserves another shot or 2.
Yeah.
He ain't, from what I understand, yeah, he made some mistakes, but he young, so
Right.
I think he deserves at least 2 more shots.
Yeah. Like my only concern, like when any of the young, like relatively young guys, Haskins, Jameis, Darnold, I already got one of those. I got Mason Rudolph, who, he could be good, he could be not. I don't know, but he's too young for me. Not if I'm gonna go with him, I got to be willing to invest in him. I don't want to do that yet. I need a guy like Matthew Stafford who can give me 5 years of really good football, and then I'll start evaluating young dudes. You get what I'm saying? But I need me a veteran who can keep me competitive while I still have a roster that's good enough to win a Super Bowl. But I don't want to have a Dwayne Haskins here who if he comes in and he stinks, then I've wasted 5 years of Juju, 5 years of Chase Claypool, 5 years of Deontay Johnson. Like I've wasted all that shit, and now it's too late. I need a guy who can come in and let me take advantage of all this talent I have, and then we'll start rebuilding that position in 5 years.
Makes sense.
So, well, yeah. So, I don't know. But we'll see. We definitely got all 3 of us can start looking towards the draft now, because damn sure it's an ugly weekend.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I was telling Al, who was trying to find something to talk about in the NBA. I was going to talk about this Lakers Rockets game tonight, but that shit got out of hand really quick. Lakers up by 40 last time I saw. You mentioned Kyrie, and that was the other thing I wanted to talk about. We were kind of, just 'cause definitely one of our we'll sees in the offseason was the Brooklyn Nets, with them bringing in Kevin Durant to join Kyrie Irving. What is the state of the franchise right now, considering everything that's going on and not going on with Kyrie not being there? Pooh, what's the state of the franchise in Brooklyn right now?
I definitely think they're rocky. I also think, I still think they're still really good in the East, but of course I don't think that they could possibly get to a championship. Even how good KD is, just I don't know if they'll get past Miami. I don't know if they'll get past the Bucks. I don't know if they'll get past the Celtics without Kyrie. And this just goes back to what we were saying, man. We just didn't know if the kid is. Is he all in, or it's just he's becoming like last year's AB, like last 2 years AB. It's just always something going on with him. If I was him, man, I'd be pushing. I'd be back there with management pushing them. Hey, do what y'all got to do to get Harden here, man, with me, and if you got to get Kyrie, put Kyrie with John Wall. Get his ass away from me. Like really. Like seriously, man. He said the kid's off the grid. I don't know what's going on with him. I haven't read everything. You know, I heard he was at a party without a mask and he's off the grid and he got like I don't know, but I know he's leaving. Like ownership can't even get in contact with him. Like he's not answering. That's bananas. Like what is he making? What is he making? Like $30 million this year?
At least it's up there.
Something like that. But that's Kyrie shit though.
It is. It is.
Told y'all before the season this shit ain't gonna work because Kyrie don't.
We did.
I don't know. Al, what do you think? What's the state of the Brooklyn Nets? Man, I'm keep my mouth shut on this idiot.
I like the phrase Rocky. You know, honestly, very talented team. A team talent wise, has enough to come out the East. But, leadership wise, I don't see it. And I just don't expect much from them. I'm glad that Durant has come back and has been productive and looks good. Still getting buckets. I like that. But, I think to really come out the East and make some noise against a focused, who I'm assuming would be the opponent, the Lakers, you need a Kevin and a Kyrie that are focused and locked in. And I don't know what to expect from Kyrie. And I really think leadership has been his. I ain't been in the locker room, but just from what I've heard consistently, has been his flaw. And I still don't. This, to Pooh's point about not being reachable. And you a leader. You always got to be accessible. Always, like that's just part of the deal. Always got to be accessible because we need you. You know what I mean? And you sitting in that seat,
right?
You can't do that. And so that to me makes me wonder and question, and again, but we don't know. So, until we learn more, we can, kind of form, better opinions. But just from what I see, what I've learned, it's hard to count on him right now.
But no matter what it is, shouldn't the owner should be able to say, hey, Kyrie has some issues, or we've spoken to Kyrie, everything's fine. Don't worry about Kyrie. He'll be back when he's back.
Mm-hmm.
The owner shouldn't be able to say we have no clue where this guy is.
Right.
Should they?
Nope.
You're right.
Unless Kyrie's the owner,
right?
But he ain't.
I'm just thinking like they gonna be. Should they be able to say like we don't have a clue where this guy is?
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing. Hey, we spoke with him. He getting himself together. Blah blah blah. Or they might not even say all that. We spoken with Kyrie. He leave of absence. He'll be back. But for them to say we have no clue, and they're quote unquote he's off the grid.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And then that video that comes out doesn't help.
I didn't see the video. What happened?
Well, that's the video of him at a birthday party without having a mask on.
Oh, naked face and naked hands.
And, honestly, based on the COVID policies, they real strict about what the expectations are since we're not in a bubble.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta be.
And so yeah, man, at some point, it ain't much that like Charles Barkley says that I agree with, that I'm willing to repeat. But he said it like at some point, Kyrie's got to be willing not to be the smartest person in the room. Sometimes you have to sit back and say maybe somebody else has a better answer to this one. Let me just not be me. Let me not be Kyrie on this one. Let me just go with the flow.
I get that.
But he always got to be fucking Kyrie. Always. There's never a point where he's just like, you know what? I'm gonna take somebody else. Let somebody else take the lead on this one. He never like bows down to any opportunity to stand out. He never wants to blend in. So, and that doesn't work in a team environment, in a leadership. It just doesn't work if you're that impliable. And then this is why I said that this team is just destined. The only way they'll win, it'll be in spite of the leadership of KD and Kyrie.
And I do want to retract. I think I think KD is good enough to get them out the East, and because they do have very, very good talent surrounding them.
They do. Yeah.
So I'm gonna retract that part of it, but winning the ship, I don't think not against the Lakers. I don't think that.
And I don't even think KD. Not if Miami drags KD to the deep water like they did everybody last year in the playoffs, KD ain't ready for that.
They did that now. They did that.
Right.
Mm-hmm. They did that.
Yeah. And KD looks really good so far this year, but you can tell he's not as explosive. You know, his first step is not quite there yet. So if he gets that back, then we'll talk again. But I don't think he's that guy who can like put the whole team on his back against that kind of Miami team. Or or Giannis gets hot in Milwaukee. Can he go head to head against Giannis and take that team out of Milwaukee? I don't know.
I watched him tonight. I watched KD tonight. This is my first time seeing him this year, and he looked better than what I anticipated him look. Even though I've heard that he looked good, but he looked better than what I thought that he would. And I can only assume that he's going to get more and more informed. You know, if he's KD, I think he'll outdo Giannis because I think he'll be able to do more defensively against Giannis than what Giannis can do against him. Mm-hmm. If he's KD.
Right, that's what. But like, it's hard to be critical, right? Because it's hard to be critical because KD was so damn good that even a step off, like your first step, ain't quite what it was, but it's still better than 98% of the dudes in the league. You know what I'm saying? Like he's gone from being, conversation the best player in the league to. Maybe one step away from that right now. Right. So, there's either one of two ways it can go. Either he's going to keep rounding into shape or he's going to get tired over the season and kind of break down. So we don't know yet. Either way, he's highly capable of, like you said, leading this team out of the East, but it won't be because of his and Kyrie's leadership together. It'll be strictly off of talent.
Off talent, yeah. Even because when they interviewed him, and I didn't expect him to. I mean, he can't turn on Kyrie in front of the media,
right?
But when he was talking to him, he was still real standoffish with the media. He still didn't give a leadership. Political answer.
Right.
Well, he at where he be at when he get with the team. I mean, come on, KD.
Right, that's KD. Like that's what I'm saying. Like that's just But let them start losing and Kyrie ain't there, it's gonna change.
Agreed.
He gonna be just as belligerent, but you're gonna start seeing it directed towards Kyrie.
Kyrie, right?
That's just like neither one of them. Like it's like they've never had media training. Either one of them. So, I don't know.
No way he's not on the Mike and Kobe and no way he's not on the phone with this guy.
Right.
Exactly. Even if it's like what's good, everything all right? But who knows? He could be, but I don't know if he not on the phone with him the way he needs to be on the phone with him. Addressing things the way he should be addressing it. Because if there's something going on, okay, great, something going on, definitely having his back, but I don't know if KD has that in him, not yet anyway.
Right.
I just don't.
Yeah. Not yet. When's it gonna come? When's it gonna come on his 36th birthday? Like, what we waiting on?
I mean, put it like this: I don't know if he has it.
Yeah. No,
I
I agree with you. I'm not sure either.
So, yeah, man. Again, like we talked about it this off season. What do we have to end it with? I don't know. We'll see. And we 10 games into the season, we still saying shit. I don't know. We'll see. So we'll see when we get an answer on these two, man. We don't know. But like Pooh said, I think the best word to describe the state of the Brooklyn Nets right now is rocky. They were 4-3 with both of them in the lineup, and I think they're 2-4 or something with them both out. Well, with them both out, 2-3 with them both out, and then 0-1 with Durant back. So we'll see, man. We just don't know yet. Long way to go. So, we'll move on to our question of the week, our listener question, before we get into some trivia. Well, we actually already talked about this, and I kind of jumped the gun, I guess. But Brad from Augusta, Georgia, wanted to know how good is Devontae Smith on the next level. So I guess we'll wrap that conversation up with your answer right here. Pooh, give me a player production-wise, not who he reminds you, who he looks like. What's his ceiling and what's his floor? What's Deontay's ceiling on the next level? Who's the best player he can be at the next level?
I would probably say Deshaun Jackson in his prime.
Okay, all right. And what's his floor? What's the worst he can be if he's a flop?
If he's a flop, man, well, I got to say Desmond Howard. I mean, not really saying Desmond Howard was a flop, but he was a return guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And things like that. So I'll leave it with that.
Okay. All right, Al. Who's Devontae Smith's ceiling to you?
His ceiling is, I'll go with his ceiling. His ceiling is Sanders.
Emmanuel Sanders.
Emmanuel Sanders.
Okay. All right, and who's his floor?
I didn't have nobody at first, but Desmond Howard was a good one and kind of had me come up with the good guy. I'm going with Rocket Ishmael's brother.
Quadri. Quadri is
Quadri.
The missile. All right.
Missile.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that other dude.
All right.
Ain't you
right?
Rocket's brother?
Man.
Yeah. So that he'd be the guy like, ain't you the guy who went to the same school that? Yeah. I'm that guy.
Yeah, I'll play with Najee Harris. That was me.
I didn't mean the Heisman.
No, I did. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. That was going to be my ceiling for him is Emmanuel Sanders. You know, in the right system, you know, the way he runs routes, and I'm talking about Emmanuel Sanders in his prime, which is no knock on him. That Emmanuel Sanders is great. And floor, I would say Ted Ginn Jr. So, if he just turns out to be a guy who can run from the slot and get you one big play every game, you know, if it just doesn't work out for him in other ways, gets injured a few times, and you know, get some 3 head coaches in, and he's no longer the apple of somebody's eye, I'd say Ted Ginn. He's good enough to stick around for a long time, and even if he's no longer the hot shot prospect.
Which ain't bad.
Nah, absolutely not. I mean, that's not bad if that's your worst.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. All right. Well, yeah, appreciate it, Brad. Again, we kind of jumped the gun, but good conversation on him. Damn good question. Y'all want to have us answer something, or you got something to get off your chest, or you just disagree with something we say, shoot us an email at info@GoDefyLife, or hit us up on social media at @GoDefyLife on all platforms. You know, we can definitely get your listener question answered. Y'all ready for some trivia?
Yes, sir.
All right. So this week, it's going to be really simple. We're going old school on this one. Be honest, I was pressed for time, and I was like, oh, let's just go old school and pull out a list.
Let's go.
And we talked about Ben Roethlisberger earlier, so I found this, and we started talking about draft. So we're going old school. I'll give you a name, and you give me their alma mater.
Okay.
Okay.
You give me where they went to school. You have to get a correct answer to win the game. So you can't win on somebody's wrong answer. Okay. So we'll just alternate. So Ben Roethlisberger at the top of this list. Al, you gave me the opportunity to go first last week, so you get to go first this week, sir. Here we go. Ben Roethlisberger. Where did he go to college? 5,
Ohio?
4, 3. That is incorrect. Miami University in Ohio. Yes.
I knew it was something Ohio.
Yes. All right. Next on the list, Chris Johnson, CJ2K. 5, 4, 3.
He went to
2,
what's school?
1.
Damn the Pirates. The Pirates. What's their name, yo? Oh, East Carolina. I didn't get it though.
It's too late, but that was a good late guess. Damn, Al.
They the Pirates.
Okay, I'm back in it.
Al, you back in it.
All I can remember was the Pirates, yo.
Next one. Andre Johnson. Blake Play Dre. Where did he go to college?
He went
5,
to
4, 3.
University of Miami.
Miami is correct.
Al.
Pooh. Next one is Adrian Peterson.
AP, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
I can't believe
Yeah, you totally,
Appreciate you, Pooh.
totally dropped that.
It makes
Papa.
better radio if we don't go this way.
It does. Al, Phillip Rivers.
Philip went to
on my count now.
Maryland.
4. Ooh, Maryland is incorrect.
Where did he go?
Carolina State Wolfpack.
That's right.
Oh,
Yes.
All right, Pooh.
Yes.
James Harrison.
dude, I have no
5,
clue where Jane had.
4,
A small school. That's all I
3.
know. I don't know where he went.
Kent State.
Oh, good looking out, Pooh.
Al, Reggie Wayne.
University of Miami.
That means correct.
This guy-
Pooh. You talk about easy ones. Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, Michigan.
Michigan is correct. Al, Maurice Jones-Drew. 5,
UCLA.
4. UCLA is correct. Pooh, Randy Moss.
Randy Moss, Marshall.
5. Marshall's correct. Al, Dallas Clark. 5.
The tight
4.
end.
3,
Went to
2, 1.
Nebraska.
Oh, that is
I
incorrect.
think it was Iowa.
Iowa, yes. Pooh, Chad Johnson, a.k.a. Ocho Cinco.
Chad Oakles.
5,
What Chad went?
4, 3,
Chad went.
2,
I'm gonna say Chad was a Beaver.
which is...
No, he wasn't. No, he
Oregon
wasn't.
State.
No, he went to Oregon.
No, Oregon State.
Oregon State is
No,
correct.
which one was it? Oh, it is
Yeah.
Oregon.
Yeah.
Tried to talk you out the right answer.
Oh, I was like,
Oh,
no.
man.
State.
Yeah. Damn good one. All right. I ain't gonna go down the rest of this list because I can use these
Almost
later.
let him off the hook again.
There you
man.
go.
You did. Oh man. Congrats, Pooh. Well, you won this week, man. What you got for me? What's your parting shot?
Man, my parting shot, not anything too heavy. I definitely want to say that the idea of America is way better than what America is really, So I really want us to move toward making the idea reality. It's been a long time coming,
But just the idea of America really, really feels good. But we really need to make that a reality.
No doubt. All right. Al, what you got for me? What's your parting shot?
Man, I'm just gonna jump on board of that with Pooh and just say I agree wholeheartedly, and it's gonna take all of us. So, like, this is I think we are in a time of going up, making progress, and it's gonna take all of us trying to make this place better. So, that's all I got. Let's keep the faith and keep at it.
No doubt. I'm crazy, man. Let's give us a rest in peace to Tim Lester. Jerome Bettis' first fullback as a Pittsburgh Steeler. So, guy who paved the way for a lot of yards in Pittsburgh, man. Tim Lester died today at the age of 52. So, shout out to you, Big Tim. Tim Dog is what they called him. So, shout out to Tim Lester and his family. A lot of good memories. Those are the days of what some people would call real football. We had a fullback leading that tailback into the hole. So shout out to Tim Lester and everything you did for the Steelers and everything you provided your family with, man. Rest in peace.
No doubt, man.
No doubt.
Well, that's it, y'all. This has been episode 184 of the Defy Life podcast. Y'all definitely check us out on defylifepods.com, as well as all of our other wonderful podcasts. We love all of our fellow co-hosts here on the network. We'll talk to y'all next week. Until then, Defy Life.
Defy life.
Defy life.
We're told that greatness is exceptional, when it should be expected. You choose every day to live your life intentionally, without apology for how bright your light may shine. So go be great. Go be brilliant. Go be you. Go defy life. The Defy Life movement is one that speaks to each of us in its own way. Defy Life gear speaks to us all by reminding us that one size does not fit all. Visit defylifegear.com to get fitted for greatness.